The trip just started here in Botswana like every other trip. We flew into Mon and then into Tananga, got up in the morning early and sighted in the rifles, made sure that everything was on. We didn't have any issues with the flight over with our guns. And then we took off on about a 3-hour drive to get up into CT7.
Basically, what we're doing now is we're just going for a quick drive just to see, look for some tracks, just to see where most of the movement is.
With the elephant hunting, the limited time that we had, which is a 10-day elephant hunt, and the 3 guns with Brad shooting, Christopher shooting, and myself, we felt that it was best that we split up. I went with Russell Tarr, who's a fantastic PH in his own right. Chris and Brad went together, father-son team, and they went off and did their own thing with Richard. So we could cover more area that way and give better opportunities. Trying to push it and try to kill 3 elephants in 10 days, it's a pretty big feat under any circumstances.
By the 4th day, we had seen over 130 bull elephant. Nice ones, but you know, at this point, I got 6 days to go through this, pick and choose the elephant of my choice. You know, on day 5, I thought it was gonna be just like every other day to that point. We're gonna go out and see an average of 20, 25 bulls in a day. Man, that's when the brakes came on.
It was almost like they just disappeared.
In the last 2 days, we've seen 0 elephant. So I'm thinking, man, between the moon phase and the wind, we're in trouble.
He's gonna smell us, Brad. There's nowhere we can go. He's so small, he's such a young bull. Even his body size, his shoulder height, everything about him. He's just really, really young. Nothing close to what we're looking for. It's just a very young bull. Probably still in his late teens, maybe his early 20s. Okay, that's really young. I'll carry on down to the point and see what else we find along the way. Okay.
Yeah. CT7 has some beautiful seeps and big pans that are natural, that are not pumped. That's why the elephants are here.
Brad, he's not as big as what we first thought, but he's still a nice bull. I think we should try and get a bit closer and have a better look. Okay. All right.
For the 3rd time in his life, Brad is hunting with Ram Safaris of Botswana.
These elephants have expanded to over 200,000, and there's no place for them to go. This is it. This is the last stronghold of elephant in Africa.
You know, they've run out of space, basically, and you know, if you didn't control it, there's going to be a drop in biodiversity, and it's an interesting problem.
It's a fact here in Botswana that hunters are less than 5% of the total tourists that come into the country, but the revenue generated exceeds 50% of the total revenue.
You can go anywhere else in the world, you won't see the amount of elephants that we see and the size of the elephants that we see here. And there's just something about a big Botswana bull that gets the blood flowing.
You know, Steve stayed with his bull the rest of the day. We joined back up with Steve, and he came over to our party on day 5. You know, I'm feeling really good. Chris and Steve are done. They got their elephants in the salt. It's time for me. You know, on day 5, I thought it was going to be just like every other day to that point. We're going to go out and see an average of 20, 25 bulls in a day. Man, that's when the brakes came on. We saw nothing.
What happened was we were coming upon a full moon, and we got into a full moon. So we got cold weather in a full moon. The conditions couldn't be any worse than that right then and there.
It was almost like they just disappeared. It really, really changed their behaviors and their movement patterns. We started struggling a little bit, and you could see everyone started looking at each other going, are we going to be able to find another good bull?
We didn't see an elephant on day 6. We didn't see an elephant on day 7. Man, it was getting bleak. Well, we're on the 7th day out here in Botswana in CT7, and it looks like we've got about 133 bulls we've looked at to this point. Unfortunately, in the last 2 days, we've seen 0 elephant. I mean, we've hit a dry spell like I've never seen in CT7, and I've been in this area 3 different hunting seasons. Getting to be a little worrisome. I mean, we got 3 days to go and the hunt's over. So I don't know what to expect at this point. So we get out to day 8, and finally, we finally in the afternoon see 2 or 3 bulls.
He's gonna smell us, Brad. There's nowhere we can go. Let's back up, guys.
This year, is a really bittersweet year. The entire country is shutting down for hunting. This is our last chance in.
Botswana's hunting is completely over as of January 1, 2014.
With regards to the reason for closing hunting in Botswana, their reason for it is that population of certain species are in the decline. But then when you look at their aerial surveys from 2012 and 2011, buffalo numbers and elephant numbers are on the rise.
Hunting like we've been doing, these elephants have a value from $60,000 to $80,000. And it's real money going to the real natives of this country. It provides employment for hundreds and hundreds of people. And when you turn it all off, this guy that comes out and poaches this elephant, he might get $200. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
He's got a good left side, but yeah, his right side's just all broken up. Right side's busted off. He's just done something to that tusk. There's still 2 more bulls up there. Yeah, there's one more bull. The one bull's a small-bodied bull. You could see him through the brush. He was a lot smaller. Too bad that wasn't the right bull. Let's just see. I don't know how far they've gone. Let's see. Okay.
At least we're seeing elephant. Yeah, they're not shooters, but it's like, okay, maybe something started to change. It's day 8. I'm feeling a little bit better, but not great. So I'm thinking, man, between the moon phase and the wind, we're in trouble.
For veteran hunter Brad Sievers, time is quickly running out on his last chance at a Botswana bull elephant.
You look at these bulls and look at them, and I've shot big bulls, and I'm really happy with what we've taken here in CT7 and CT1, and I'm just not going to shoot a young bull. This is not going to happen for me. So it's either we find the bull of a lifetime, or, I go home with no ivory.
There's tracks on the road. I mean, they're in this corner, but it's so thick. The wind's been playing havoc with us, so I don't know, it's a 2-day dry spell. Like you say, finally something happened, but they just weren't the right stuff, small bulls. Well, I don't know what's gonna happen, but my prediction is that we're gonna still put, some ivory in the salt. One more bull. It's still gonna happen.
We're heading back to the main road, and we take a right instead of a left. Richard said, yeah, I want to go back up in this area. There's 3 bulls way out there. I mean, well over a mile. I'm going, holy cow, this might be the ticket right here.
At that point, there was just too many people out there. It was very, very open ground. There was just too many people with us. So we split the group up. Those elephants were a long ways off, and way off to the right and behind them about another 800 yards, standing in the sun in the midday heat, was this lone bull. And even from a good, almost a kilometer away, 1,000 meters away, you could see ivory.
And it's wide, he's heavy, which he's 3 times farther than the original bulls that we're looking at under the tree.
Working out good so far. Hopefully the wind will just stay constant like this, and we can get up on him there, and these ones won't smell us.
I mean, the serious level just went up 1,000%. Everybody knows, man, we have got to pull it off. We're gonna pull it off, we gotta pull it off now.
We made a big loop around, got all the way around, and got up to this bull and looked at the ivory. He was very impressive looking.
Brad, he's not as big as we thought he was, but he's still a good bull. He's going to be about 50 kilos. Yeah, good front. Yeah, he's good. Makes you much, don't you think? Yeah, Brad, I don't think we're going to get a frontal off him. We're going to try and do a side brain. Okay. It's just too risky. We're going to try and get a little bit up here. All right. We'll shoot him off the sticks. Yeah, we'll shoot him off the sticks.
And this is it. This is the whole hunt right here. If we don't do it this time, it's not gonna happen.
We got up to a point where we just couldn't go any further and set up the sticks.
Just right in his ear hole, Brad, when you're ready. Chris, you're gonna back him up. Okay. All right, when you're ready, Brad.
Just gonna wait for a second here.
Just in front of that ear.
Okay. You have the ear hole right here, and you come up basically one hand width in front of the ear hole and try to stay about 1 inch above the bottom of the ear hole. And that's the shot. That's where you got to put it. And this bull's just sitting there, and his ear is going back and forth and back and forth. You're trying to pick that point out. And you also want to make sure you shoot and shoot pretty quick, because the bull's just not going to stand there.
Okay. All right, when you're ready, Brad.
Just gonna wait for a second here.
Just in front of that ear.
Okay.
Okay.
Hit him again. Reload, reload, come up, let's go, come. Come up, guys. Brad, come. Let's go around this way, let's go around. Come around. He's going down, he's going down. Okay. Very good shot, Brad, let's go, come. Brad, shoot him in the spine there.
Man! Beautiful! Beautiful. Unbelievable. It's really what every elephant hunter wants to shoot. And it's hard to believe that Richard said, you know what, Brad? We are less than 5K of where you shot your bull in 2011. That's a dream right there, buddy.
This is probably the greatest thing I've ever been able to share with my dad, aside from killing my elephant. Being out in the field together, hunting this elephant together, shooting him together. Doesn't even have to be an elephant. It can be anything. It can be a rabbit hunt. It can be a whitetail hunt.
All right!
How about that, man?
All right!
Got him.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. Holy cow!
It was an incredible place for me to start with Rand Safaris over here. And I got to do it over here with my best friend, Steve LeBlanc. And, you know, my son last year, Matt, took a great bull. And here, you know, it's the closing of Botswana. And I got to get my youngest son over here for the hunt. And it's just unbelievable that all three of us could close Botswana down and take such magnificent bulls. It's hard to believe. It's what I wanted to do. It's what I dreamed about doing, but we just didn't know if we could pull it off. By the grace of God, it happened. It's unbelievable.